Welcome to Dodgers Daily. Casey Porter here. So glad that you decided to tune in. Fans, today we have a very, very, very special guest, Max Muncy, the third baseman for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Joins Dodgers Daily down in rehab in AAA Oklahoma City at the Bricktown Ballpark. Max, thank you so much for joining.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Okay, first of all, let's talk about the injury. Let's talk about the ramp up and all of that.
Yeah, knee feels great. Hasn't been any lingering side effects. So it's just trying to build back up into games, trying to get some timing back. You haven't played in a game in over a month, so it's just trying to, be smart about some things. And, when you have a lower body injury, you have to be careful of, other body parts compensating for, that kind of stuff. And so we're just trying to be smart with everything, make sure the body's in a good spot. And then, we'll see where we're at after this, these couple games down here.
Yeah, awesome. So whenever it first happened, I know it was on the night that Kershaw got his 3,000th strikeout. That had to be disappointing, but can you believe that you're back on the field after it first happened?
No, I'm just very, I think blessed is a great word to say that I'm not, I'm not under the knife and, missing an entire year. And, it's just been, you replay the injury in your head and you're just so thankful that it wasn't worse than what it was. And, it still sucked, but it's, sports injuries are going to happen, and sometimes it's not always an injury you can control. And that's one of those things where it was just a bang bang play. Yeah. You just happen to be right there, and the guy slides into you. He's not doing it on purpose. It's just it's a injury that happens, part of the game, and it sucks. But you're thankful that it's not anything worse than what it was.
Yeah. So the World Championship last year, talk about that and maybe compare it to the 2020 World Championship and those two experiences.
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard to put into words what a World Series means, but it's really, at the end of the day, it's like your whole life's work.
Yeah.
Your life's dreams all come into fruition. That's the whole reason you play this game, is to win a World Series, and to be able to accomplish that, especially at a place like Yankee Stadium. I know it's not the old stadium, but it is still Yankee Stadium. It's still a storied venue, a historical venue, and so to be able to do it there, it was a really cool moment. You get to celebrate with the guys. You come back home, you celebrate with the city, and that's really kind of the biggest difference between 2020 and the one last year was just when we won in 2020, there was no parade. There really wasn't even any celebrating because it just the way things happened, with COVID and everything, and the unfortunate incident that happened with our team. You win and you're getting tested, you're getting sent on a plane back to LA, and there's no champagne, there's no celebration, there's no party, and it just, you don't get to celebrate with fans. There was only, what was it, 12 or 13,000 people in the stadium, so you're not really getting to celebrate with anybody. And so for last year to get that parade, it was unbelievable, and it is hard to put into words, just seeing what it meant to the city, not just to us, but to the city, to those people, and it's just a really cool moment.
So this team has won a million games. It won the NL West a million different years, won 2 World Series since 2020. Probably should have won the third if the Astros deal didn't happen in 2017. But having said that, what keeps a group of guys like you hungry?
I think one of the things that we really try to preach, and we start this early on before spring even starts, is you take things one day at a time. You can't look in the future, you can't look in the past, because ultimately those don't matter. What are you doing today to try to get better? What are you doing today to prepare for the game? And we've really tried to preach that mindset for a lot of years here, and I think that's really the big key, because when you're trying to focus on just what you're doing for that day, you're not worried about anything else. You're not worried about getting complacent. You're not worried about, oh, well, we've lost a couple games in a row. It doesn't matter. How are you going to go out there and try to win that game today? What are you going to do today to make that game win? And thankfully, you have people like Doc and, the front office who they get to worry about the decisions that are made in terms of the long run. Hey, maybe this guy can't pitch today because he's pitched a couple of days in a row. And, that's for them to worry about. For us as players, it's, we got to be ready every single day. When your number's called, you got to be prepared to go out there and do your job. And, we really try to preach that, and I think we've done a good job of that.
A couple of personal questions. I got to see almost every one of your games back in 2017 when the Dodgers first got you from the A's. So take us back to that time and tell us what the Dodgers have meant to you since then.
Yeah, I mean, Dodgers meant everything. I'd be out of baseball if it wasn't for them. And it's, they called the guy on the couch and, wanted to give him a shot. And so
literally on the couch.
Literally on the couch.
Yeah,
and,
wow.
For me, it was just, at that time I was pretty set on retiring, and, I was pretty done with baseball, and you realize maybe you're not done with it and want to give it another shot. And so to come here, a place that I kind of grew up playing at, in terms of, in college you're playing games here. You've seen games here, seen guys like Nelson Cruz way back when play for the Red Hawks. It's kind of a cool moment for me to be able to come play here every day, and on top of that, play for an organization like the Dodgers, who, there's just a handful of organizations that you'd say are the class of MLB, and the Dodgers are definitely one of them. So for me, it was, definitely jump at the opportunity to come here and try to refine your love for the game. And that was the biggest mindset change for me, was just try to have fun no matter what. And so when you get here, it's a tough place to play at if you're not having fun, because it's really hot here. It's very humid. It's travel is not easy in this league, and especially back then when the leagues were different. And for me, it just kind of meant everything to get a chance to play. And with the Dodgers giving me that shot, like I said, I'd be out of baseball if it wasn't for the Dodgers. And so that's why I just feel like I have such a close connection with them, and a love for them, and for the organization, the front office, the staff. I've known these guys for a long time now, and they mean everything to me.
One last question here. Probably going to get the biggest smile of you of the day here. Want to take you back to your roots in Keller High School, the DFW area. Coach Stramp, who you played for, got it. I told you, right?
Yeah.
Got his 500th win this year. I think he's like at 505 now, man.
That's awesome. He's he's one of the first, besides my dad, he's one of the first guys that taught me a lot about hitting, and staying inside the baseball. And I always thought he's done a great job coaching there. One of my good buddies is now the assistant coach underneath him, and we always reminisce on the old days of back when we played for him. And,
so do you still talk to him?
Every now and then.
Okay,
I haven't kept in close contact, but every now and then I still see him, and it's just fun to kind of reminisce about the old days. And Coach Stramp's, he's a great coach, great guy, and he's meant a lot to that program. They always have a really good program there at Keller, and when you look at some of the schools around the area, you wouldn't feel like Keller would be a baseball school, but they've always had good teams there, and they've had good players come out of there.
All right, before I let you out of here, do you remember that series in 2012 in Stillwater where you hit like 17 home runs and went like 18 for 21?
Yeah, it was a good weekend.
At Baylor. Max Muncy, thank you so much.
Yeah.